come along with me, if you will, into this whole story that I have in my head around the Hush Tarot. Hi everyone, welcome to Kat's Intuition. I am Krystal Kat, and today let's talk Hush Tarot. Now, this deck, I feel like people either like this deck or cannot stand looking at this deck. It is a US Games deck. Quickly, we'll look at the tiny guidebook really quick. It's introduction. You get one spread in the back, and you get pages for notes, and you get a little write-up about the artist. Then it goes straight into the major, what you get for each card. As you see, no pictures, it's just text. The majors, you get the title of the card, you get the upright and reversed keywords, then you get a write-up for both the upright and reversed position of the card. Let's take a look at the minors. What you get for the minors, you get upright and reversed, and you also get a write-up for the upright and reversed positioning. So you're getting information just like the majors for the minors, just maybe not as much included in the write-ups. All right, so let's get into it. Here is the inside. Nice blue type color. Now, this deck, I would not personally recommend for beginners. I mean, you can read with whatever you want to read with, right? It is your call. I'm just saying, it wouldn't be considered a beginner-friendly deck. I do love the backs here. I love the skulls. I love all the intricacy. I love the borders. I really like the backs. I went out and this is my very first, I've been reading since I was 14 years old. Okay, 14 years old, I picked up my first tarot deck. It was the Tarot of the Cat People. And I am just now, in 2023, getting a Rider-Waite deck. I just never have been called to the artwork, the colors, anything. But when I saw this one, I was like, oh, okay, I could do that. Because I've been wanting a Rider-Waite deck to compare decks with, or to do walkthroughs with them, right? And I couldn't bring myself to spend money on a deck that I knew I wouldn't like. But these are much better. I'm good with the colors. How does that feel? That feel good for everyone? As if you can answer me, right? Okay, so let's take a look and we will see why I say that I don't feel that these are beginner friendly. So here we have the Fool, our typical depiction, right? And then we have this. We do not have a character that looks as though he's about to go off of a cliff or anything like that. We have a ferret. He has moths around him. Now, I'm not going to read this book for every card. I'm just going to read it for this one so that you get an idea of the information provided in the book. It says the Fool. The keywords for the Fool are mischievous, bold, out of step, an adventurous spirit, carefree and open to experiences. The write-up that you get for the upright position is: the ferret is known for its curiosity and playful temperament, which can sometimes be considered mischievous. Moths use their turbulent flight to evade predators. Their erratic moves can help to avoid danger. Also, as masters of disguise, they are a reminder to be aware that you could be hiding from yourself. The reversed keywords are poor decision-making, carelessness, being open to risks. The write-up for the reversed positioning is: the ferret has excellent night vision, but he is easily distracted. A glance over the shoulder leaves you blind to obstacles ahead. Just as the moth may be proficient in its own manner of flight, the object it most desires is often just a flame, its end. Be mindful in your decision-making. Some actions can have lasting effects. So, you see how they do explain the imagery here. Why is there a ferret? What does that have to do with a fool? So it is explained. So this would be a deck that you definitely need to take your time with. I actually showed this in the 21 questions tarot tag. This was one that I chose for a death, oh my goodness, a deck that you need to take your time with, but is totally worth it because it is a beautiful deck. Again, not everyone will think so. It's on the darker side, but that's kind of my aesthetic, as weird as that sounds. I wish this would focus a little bit better. There we go. So I don't feel like it's focused. Let me try something. Saying the darker aesthetic, that's kind of my thing, but a lot of people don't like that. So a lot to consider when wanting to purchase this deck. All right, so here we have the Magician, and you see here's our normal depiction, right? And here it's like, oh my god, what in the world was going on? Look at all of that. Look at this going on up here. We have the head of this animal up here. Now, did she kill that animal or is she helping it? Either way, you have the power within, right? All right, here with the High Priestess, usually, you know, it'll be depicted with our 2 columns. No columns at all here. But she does, however, have a little bird in her hand, a dead bird. To me, I really think that this card is beautiful, though. The art is just beautiful. And you see these stars, right? But these stars are actually on hooks. So there's just so much to take in, and that is why I say that this deck really needs you to probably go full in on a deck study, really get to know your cards, bond with them, take the time that this deck almost demands of you, right? Here we have the Empress, and our Empress here is depicted by a very young looking person, but again, if you look closer, she looks to be like a wooden doll, like a puppet almost, and that's like a marionette, and that is what these strings look like to me. Now, I have not read the guidebook for all of these cards personally. This is a deck that I feel you could totally just go off of intuition with, depending on your tarot reading style, and I believe how far into your practice you are. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? But she is so very one with nature, though. She has a handful of feathers. There's tons of bees around her. It's beautiful in this dark, almost macabre way. All right, here we have our Emperor. And this one, again, I'm probably going to say this is weird, like a lot, but this deck really does get weird. Okay, so we have these towers, right? And again, this card has been said to give off that fae vibe because it's like either the people are tiny or the animals are huge. So, you know, that's why it's got a fae feel to it. But anyways, down here we have these people in animal masks. Can you see them? It's almost as if they are in this parade, or I don't know, but they're holding these wands down here. There's bees all around. We have these hands that's almost holding up this structure, pulling everything together as would be done by our Emperor, right? And yeah, so again, so much to go into. And the whole purpose for me having this deck here is just to show you how off from original depictions of the cards that this deck is. Usually see the crossed keys here with the Hierophant, and we can see them depicted here. And we have kind of our main character here with the other two looking up at them, as we do see here. So again, there are some associations you can make. So if you just sit with your deck and really go into it and put the amount of time that you want to dedicate to this, you'll start to see and pick out images and symbols and correlations between the original RWS system artwork of that system. Whew. Words. This one feels very different to me than most of the cards, but I mean, it still works. It's still very busy. Look at our beautiful peacock up there. Beautiful. I'm assuming these are lilies, our swans with their little babies. It's just such an abundant card. And here we have our chariot. And at first it's like, well, how are they getting anywhere? But if you look in this depiction here, they're sitting down. So our chariot doesn't actually look as though it is in movement, right? This one is actually missing a leg. There's just so much to go into with these decks. There's so much going on. This is definitely one of those decks that you see something new every time you read with it. Here with strength, this is, yeah, it's crazy. But again, I love it. So she's surrounded by bats, right? She's missing an arm. Her torso is barely hanging on by stitches over here. Her legs are bound. And she has little, you see that? Little rings or little hooks coming from her. So yeah, they all kind of look to me like toys. And I know that a lot of people say Fae. Let me tell you what I think. I think that it was a doll maker, right? And he lived in this massive, glorious mansion, and that was his hobby. He was an artist and a woodworker, and he wanted to make his own little trinkets and toys. And I know this may sound so far-fetched. I've never heard anyone say this about the Hush Tarot, but I don't see them as fae. I see them as toys. I see them as trinkets made by this person, this made-up person in my head. And I think a lot of them were marionettes. I think that her, for instance, she was one, and they have been broken and tangled up because maybe he passed away. And I feel like that fits the darkness. It may seem like a dark story I'm telling, like, why does he have to be dead? Why can't he be living? But it goes with the feel of this deck, right? So again, look here with the Hermit. The Hermit is one of my most favorite cards to look at, but look at our bird here. A perfect depiction. We have this owl. They are usually off by themselves, right? They're not like our mockingbirds or blue jays or cardinals, you know, that you see all the time. Owls are our more elusive, more loner type birds, right? So that's perfect. And our Hermit finds that wisdom, and owls are depicted or seen to be our wise, you know, the wise old owl. But look here, it looks like he has bits and pieces there. Again, it looks like a toy. He has in his talons a snake. I really do love that. And maybe this man was seen as kind of crazy. So come along with me, if you will, into this whole story that I have in my head around the Hush Tarot. I feel like he didn't have any family and he was all alone, and that really fueled his hobby because he had to fill his time, right? And he was a very successful man, so he didn't have any money worries. He really didn't even have to go into work. All his businesses were running themselves type thing, okay? Are you with me so far? And he was in this big, again, he's just there in his mansion, and he has no family. He has no kids running around, no wife, no anything. So he went into this type of madness where he studied nature, and he himself was that magician. He brought things to life, and maybe he looked at the alchemical side of things. Maybe he dabbled in some darkness that he was like, whoa, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want darkness. I want to try to create life. And that's what had him creating toys, was that he wanted to create life and dolls. And the ruin around him, things were being broken. Maybe his huge castle of a mansion wasn't being properly taken care of as it should, and that is also depicted because he wasn't doing the things he needed to, like take care of things. He was so engrossed in what he was doing with his creations that's all he thought about, and he became obsessed. Now, this one here, not a doll, but again, this could be part of his studies. I see him just being out in nature and dirty hands all the time and bringing his toys out with him that he's creating out into big lush garden of his, and maybe he sat by the water that he had nearby and looked at things and tried to pull in that imagery. See here, maybe this is one of his toys that were left behind on accident or whatever, right? And there she is here with a hanged man. See, and look, it does look like a mask, and we see that a lot, like in the little ones that I showed you. I believe it was in the Emperor card, right? Well, it could be a mask, or it could be unfinished faces, right? That he had not yet put on his doll. And maybe through his love and his passion for his creations, they actually came to life. Because why not? It's my fictional story, damn it. The dolls are coming to life. And here's this one that was left out, or as things fell apart and crumbled and his mansion was ransacked and all of that, toys got thrown to the side because other people didn't see them as of any importance, right? And so here this doll has come to life, and she's trying to untangle herself. And here with death, this is such a beautiful, beautiful card, because here we have this skull but surrounded by this life, right? We have this little chick here that just came out of the egg. We have this big, gorgeous hawk here protecting her nest. So beautiful, so much detail in these cards. I love it. Okay, this card, have any of you seen Friends? Tell me, who does that look like to you? Doesn't it look like Phoebe? It looks like Phoebe. I can't look at this card without seeing Phoebe. Okay, so here we have this character for Temperance, and she has this bird mask. See, it's not just a head, it's got this tie coming from it, so it is a mask. Again, with the mask, like I said, there are a lot of masks going on in this. And what a crazy depiction for the devil, right? For them to be cute little kittens. But that's perfect for the devil, because you never know. You just never know what's really behind that mask. What's really lying past these cute little kittens. We have ants. We have a little lock down here. Love the flowers. Absolutely love the flowers. Take a look at our tower here. Again, this could be part of his castle-like mansion. And there's the destruction. It crumbling away over time. The star, it says, "A hunting we will go." It's just beautiful. Okay, so here we have the moon, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the two. Look at this. I love it. The moon and the sun. I think those are so beautiful. And this one, what a soft, beautiful picture, right? This looks like, to me, a portrait of a family member that he would have had up in his home that held hard memories maybe for him because they were no longer in contact with him. But that's just what that looks like to me. So very beautiful. And look here, this also looks like another portrait. Maybe these were his daughters. So we have all that anguish that he would have felt having been estranged from his family. Okay, so here we have the ace, and up here we're actually getting into cups. So let me change these. I had put this deck in the order that I like to go in. I don't know if that's ridiculous, but I do have a certain order that I like to look at. It's just been that way since I was little. Okay, so I do like here that in the ace we have this bird, because usually we see this dove coming in over the cup here. Not coming out of a cup, the bird is coming out of a skull, but you know, And I like this cute little crown that is here. All right, so the Two of Cups. I really, really like it. So here, this could be another portrait or maybe a paintings that he has done of his family. Maybe this was his wife and one of their daughters. And let's take a closer look here. A lot of death down here being displayed at the bottom. This skull. And it is almost as if they are the bird, right? Their arms look like wings. So this could be his warped way of drawing them or painting them. Here we have the Three of Cups, and if you do notice, once we get into the minors, we do not have titles as we did on the major arcana, like this. We have the number here and the symbol here. So you know that this is Three of Cups. And again, with the toys, it's like a carousel character here. And a little rabbit joining in on the fun. So again, as you can see, I'm not talking about these cards over here, but again, I'm just flipping through it for you to see how far off from the original imagery that this deck is. All right, so here we have the Four of Cups. This one is not as busy as most that we see, right? Not at all. She's in a little costume, little rabbit costume. All right, and here with our Five of Cups, it's definitely a moody card. I really love this deck. I just love how you can pull that feeling in and how he did such a great job. Jeremy Hush, I don't believe I even mentioned. This deck is by Jeremy Hush. He did such an amazing job. And again, I see this as being a painting that the man did of his wife. And that's why it feels so sorrowful, because he has regrets of no longer having them in his life. So that really does fit for the Five of Cups, like completely. And here we have the Six of Cups left out here in nature. Now this, going back to a very busy card with all this going on. I mean, there is just so much to take in here. I'm not going to go over all of the imagery and symbolism and meaning that you could pull out of here. This video, I feel, is already going to be quite long, so I'm going to try not to do all that. I feel like you can really get a sense for where I am coming from with this deck. You can decide for yourself if you feel the same way or not. So here we have the Eight of Cups. We have a lot of ants down here at the bottom. We have our little doll that has come to life, and she's putting on her bird mask to blend in more with the birds that are around, right? Now this one kind of feels, to me, it just feels like an ace, right? It feels like an Ace of Cups because we have just the primary cup here. But no, it is our 9. Very beautiful. Yeah, I just love it. I love the feel. And I think I like it even more because of the story that I have in my head that goes with this, because I see this whole thing in my mind, right? Here are the 10 of Cups. Very happy in sync card. Our Page. I like our wasp down here. Knight. I really like the movement and the... Now this really feels like a Knight of Swords card, obviously, because she's holding a sword and it feels very fierce, like she's going. But if you look down here, it looks like she's on a boat, so therefore water. So yeah, but anyways, it could be a toy boat, right, that his dolls would play in. And here we have the Queen. I really love this Queen, the Queen of Cups, and we see the sun back here and the moon. Her crown is acting as a safe place for this bird who's holding a key. She's just, oh, I love it. I love it so much. These would have been some fun toys, right? Or creepy, depending on your taste. Here's the King of Cups. He kind of feels like a page to me, honestly, but yeah. Oh, perfect. Swords. Ace of Swords here. It's so pretty. Look at all those arrows. It definitely feels more knight, right? But yeah. Here is the Two of Swords. Now here, it's just a mask. So again, it's like he had started to create a mask, because I feel like he didn't just do toys, right? He did toys, he did paintings, he was a mask creator. Love it. And look at this one here. Wow, this is the Three of Swords. And you can definitely get that something uncomfortable, right, was going on. And that is a way that you can kind of try to find meaning. I would definitely go into this without the guidebook almost, and just ask yourself, what am I feeling? I am an intuitive reader anyway, so that's kind of a given for me. And we all have our different styles, which is a beautiful thing. You know, the different ways that we read tarot, the different ways, the different gifts that we can all bring to the table, right? And come together. So yeah, here with the 4, totally get that feel of a rest, a very uncomfortable way to rest, but you know, one of the more, or one of the less busy cards here again. And here with our 5. This, I feel, goes really, really well. Like if you're looking for conventional depictions, I feel like that one pretty much fits the best out of all of them. Well, also this one, and I really like this one, because again, you don't really have to stretch to get the meaning here, or the visual. Person in a boat. Person in a boat. People in a boat. And here, this little bird is taking everything, as much as it can carry. This one is such a peaceful one, right? She's not blindfolded. It almost looks like maybe the blindfold fell off of her, but you can see that she's wrapped up. And what's funny is that other cards are wrapped up so much, right? And like their strings. And this one, it's like just open your eyes. I love it. This is such a peaceful, nice way to depict this card, and I really like it. And oh, this one's perfect. I would have actually liked to have seen faces in these. They kind of look like rocks, boulders to me. I would have liked to see different faces. I think that would have been fun. So anyways, here is our 9 of Swords, and I think we can pull out meaning out of this image here. Perfect. And it speaks to the heaviness, right? Because to me, they look like rocks. I don't know if it'll say in the guidebook, but to me, they look like rocks. And that can be like the heaviness of our thoughts can really just pull you down and have you closed up. See how she's like pulling into herself? Oh, I just love it. Okay. Sorry, I skipped this one here with the 10 of Swords. It almost looks like those are growing out of her back. It could be coming from behind her, but yeah, I would say they're coming out of her. So it's like this doll was just dropped there and started growing through her. Now, this one is, I have to say, thus far, what we've gone through. I can't remember the rest, but this is the weirdest card, and I think he was going through a very dark time when he was doing these paintings. Not Jeremy Hush. Not the real person. My fictional artist that I have in my mind, right? It just seems like maybe he tried to call one of his daughters, right? Or one of his family members, or maybe he was thinking about them and he didn't get very far. So he started designing this doll, and maybe it started as a bird or it started as a human, and things just got kind of mixed up, literally. All right, so here we have our Knight of Swords. He isn't riding anything, but you can get that feel for here. This may be one of his warrior dolls that he made. Our Queen out here again with her mask, blending in with nature. At least she has a mask and doesn't have part bird body. And yeah, weird. Usually we're sticking with the kings or the courts being depicted as actual people, but here we have a pheasant. So yeah, King of Swords. That's one of those that just doesn't feel like. This one really just doesn't feel like it goes. I mean, yes, the artwork is still the same. We have a skull over here, so we got that dark feel, but I don't know. Yeah, Ace of Pentacles. So we still have the symbolism of a hand here, right? You could get a garden feel out of all of the greenery. And look, this is so funny to me. That is a pin pulled out of a grenade. Those birds don't even know what they're getting into, right? Here with our 3 of Pentacles. Really does look like they're conversing about what to do. Very pretty. They look like cardinals. Here we have a beautiful crow for our 4 of Pentacles. It looks like they have a little necklace in their mouth, so he's, you know, hoarding all of his little trinkets, and he's looking over his shoulder, making sure that no one is following him to his secret trinket hideout. Okay, so here with our 5 of Pentacles, I feel like, again, this is one of those moody ones that pulls in that feeling without having that original depiction, but it just gives you that feeling, right? Sorrow, and it's just, could be that they're underwater. It could be a doll that got discarded into the water, or it could be one of his paintings of one of his family members, right? 6 of Pentacles, and here we have like they're weighing the scales. He looks very stern. I almost feel like this could be a younger portrait of him, and maybe he was just really hard when it came to money, and maybe that's why he's estranged from his family. All right, our 7 of Pentacles. Here we have another doll holding this huge key. 8 of Pentacles. This, again, could be maybe a self-portrait again of him working on all of his masks and all of the dedication and hours and time of him just toiling away in his madness, creating. Now, this one I feel goes really, really well with the original, right? Minus all of the pentacles. But, I mean, she has a bird on her hand, so yeah. Again, not as busy as the most of the cards that we have been seeing. Now we have our 10. Very peaceful, not as busy. So on this one, the page, I like that it looks to me like she's pointing at her eyes. She's about to put that mask on. A lot of things, a lot of hits you can get on that. Here, our knight. You see that they're actually on hands down here. And she's gathering up that string. The birds are going to have so much string and stuff to use for their nests from these dolls. And look how beautiful this Queen of Pentacles is. It looks again like a doll that he made in his wife's image on her wedding day. Or this could be a picture, a painting that he made of his wife on her wedding day, because she looks to me like she's in a wedding dress. And because he likes nature so much, that's why he puts all of that in there. And here is the King of Pentacles. Again, not depicted by a person or a human-like figure. We have animals. And that owl looks like he's tearing the cuckoo bird out of that. The owl had had enough of hearing that man's clock going off, so he took matters into his own hands and his own beak and handled it, right? Okay, so here's the Ace of Wands. This bird's looking down and has a needle in its beak. You can tell the worry in that eyeball. Here we have the Two of Wands. Here we have a glimpse of what could be parts of his castle, right, that are deteriorating. Looks like maybe it could have been an outside lamppost, and it's being overcome by the elements. 3 of Wands. This is also a very pretty one. You could definitely pull in the meaning off of this here, I feel. Also with this one. Here is our 6 of Wands. She's riding this bird with her little flag in victory. I feel like you could also pull that one in pretty easy. That one's also a good one. Not only is she standing her ground, but it looks to me like she took. See how these have their wands and they're like going to fight him? And he's holding them off. It looks like she stood her ground and won, and she took all their wands away. She's one of those warrior dolls that he built. Here are the 8 of Wands. Now this one really does not scream 8 of Wands. This is all about movement, and this just, I don't see movement unless we're seeing that moment right before all the birds just fly off. But again, that's that stretch that you kind of have to make the cards work sometimes. got one in his mouth here. He's ready to go. He's not done yet. And here you would think that our main character is this cat, right? But no, it's this one down here. Maybe she's taking just a small break because she's been doing so much, this doll, right? And she's taking refuge in this cat. Here we have Paige. Okay, remember when I said that one card where it was half bird, half human was one of the weirdest ones? Here's another weird one. I can't remember what movie this makes me think of, but yeah. So you see this doll looks like if the doll decided to make her own creation with things that they could gather from nature, this is what it would look like. Like she found this broken statue from the man's house, right? And decided, I'm going to make a doll. Because it may look intimidating, but it just has its hand on her shoulder and she's actually holding it. And it's really actually peaceful. And he's made up of like twigs and sticks and vines and things. So at first it can be quite disturbing, but to me it's just her creation. Just as they look disturbing from his creations. Yeah. All right, so here's our Knight of Wands. I do like that one. Almost done here. Here's our Page of Wands. Now this is a very watery feel for me. And again, you can see how this deck did not follow any type of classic anything. Like when working with the elements, you know, our wands is our fire suit, and this is all water here. But yeah. See, maybe she stumbled across this bird and she's like, let me pull that up and use it. Or maybe the bird isn't dead and it was also a doll, right? Okay. So here is our King of Wands, and we have a bird again pulling and collecting the strings from maybe the dolls. So there is the Hush Tarot. This was actually a birthday gift from a friend of mine, Jessica. If you're watching, hi, and thank you. I do love it. And here you can see all of the colors. They're dark, muted colors, but there are a lot of colors to be seen. I may be edging mine, maybe perhaps in like a dark green, I feel like would go. I mean, black is always the go-to, right? But I feel like that inside green color right there would be really pretty because it's, I mean, this is a very earthy deck. So now I get to shuffle it. Now let's talk about the shape of these cards real quick. Yes. Here we have, this one I feel is, I need to pull a different tarot card because I feel like this one is a bit, let's look at, I think I can zoom out now, yeah? Okay, let me pull, I feel like this is a standard tarot. Yeah, I feel like that one's just a bit small, but anyways, I just wanted to show you. So they have a unique shape to them, the Hush Tarot cards do. They are fatter and a little bit shorter. See here? And I like that. It makes it different. I am sorry if you can hear that. That would be my 16-year-old cat. She seems to get the zoomies whenever I do videos. All right, so I don't riffle shuffle my cards, so I can't speak to how well they would riffle shuffle, but I am assuming very easily because these cards are not very thick. I would say they're, oh wow, okay. She made me lose my train of thought. Isis, okay, they're pretty much a standard cardstock. I think because of the shape, they may feel a little bit more flimsy. You know, the bigger cards get, the more flimsy they feel. Just so weird, right? But yeah. So let's just lay some down. And they're not matte, but they're also not shiny. See? Not shiny. Okay, so let's just lay some down and you can see what it would look like in a spread. Those are all pentacles. Let me pull some different ones. It all feels pretty much the same because you have that same color palette. While there are colors, you know, here with like the reds and the blues and yellows and golds and oranges and pinks, and so you have color, but they're just very muted, and I like that. That is definitely my aesthetic. So yes, and you really do have some really pretty cards in here to look at. But this is one of those decks that I think people either like it or can't stand it at all because of the imagery. Let me know. What are your thoughts on this deck? Do you have it? Do you want it? Do you like it? Can you not stand it? Let's talk. So thank you for being here with me today. Until next time, nothing but love, guys. Bye.